everybody. We are here live at Yale University, and we are talking to people about the truth and the reality of the food industry. Who on here knows about that? And more specifically, we're presenting a message today at Yale with these lovely phrases behind me. Fuck factory farming, but humane is just as bad. Interesting, right? So most people agree with the message of fuck factory farming. I mean, if you're with me on that, give me a high five through the screen. Holla at me. You know what I mean? Most people agree with the idea of factory farming, yet they eat factory farmed animals every single day. In fact, 99% of animals are factory farmed. But then when I'm out here and I'm talking to people on the street, suddenly everybody gets their meat from their farmer next door. Which is interesting because I'm like, okay, then who the hell is buying the factory farmed animal if all y'all are just getting the meat from the farmer next door? But we're here with an even, I want to challenge you further message, which is, well, that farmer next door still has to kill the animals and take away their lives, their entire existence. So I almost think it's worse or just as bad as factory farming because you give an animal a good life and then you take it away from them for a meal that lasts a few minutes. Think about it. Their entire existence, the one thing they have, their lives, you take away for a sandwich or for a pair of shoes or for a jacket. So that's the importance of this message is I don't want just animal welfare. We don't want longer chains, bigger cages. We truly want animal liberation. And I'm going to show you this flyer we have. Which is humane delusion, okay? And I'm going to explain to you why I don't want and I don't advocate for animal welfare. Because it allows for this idea that animals are still there for us to use and exploit. And what we're here to say today is that absolutely not. Their bodies are not ours. Their babies are not ours, and there's no right way to do the wrong thing. So we want to help people connect with their empathy, connect with the morals most people already have. That's why they want to choose the cage-free or the free range, because they do care. But if they really care, they wouldn't advocate for animals to have their throat slit at the end of the day, right? And so I feel like the welfare message sometimes lets people off the hook, tricks them into thinking something humane happens in the process, and keeps people comfortable and complicit in animal abuse and exploitation. At the end of the day, it's inevitable that when you farm animals, there is cruelty. There is innate cruelty in farming. As soon as you have dozens of animals, let alone hundreds and then thousands of animals in an area, there is disease, there is suffering, and always there is killing involved. And so we're here to stand against that fully. And I'm sure many of you on here are kind and compassionate people and care about animals, but you're just disconnected when it comes to your actions. So why not realign the morals that you already have with your actions and go vegan? Stop trying to find ways to do the right thing. Stop trying to call these things farming sustainable or humanely killed. Really ask yourself, would you want this happening to a dog before you say that it's okay to do it to cows, chickens, pigs, turkeys, or fish? Because in any way that matters, these animals feel pain, they suffer, and they are the same. Very similar to us, actually, in ways that they feel pain. And the only reason that we're able to do the horrible things that we do to them is because we say that they're stupid or that they can't feel pain. And people actually go as far as to bring up the fact that plants feel pain or plants have feelings. And what I would like to say to that is, number one, you don't care about plants if you're not vegan and you're eating animals, okay? And as far as plants go, they don't have a brain, they don't have a central nervous system, they don't have sentience in ways that we do, or consciousness. And so to reduce the amount of plant casualties, going vegan is actually the best thing to do, because the animals that you eat the majority of plant crops grown. For those of you that are just joining, I want to give you a little recap of what we're doing here today. We're at Yale University with the future thought leaders, with the future lawyers, doctors, legislators, politicians, and we are talking to students about one of the most pressing issues of our time. Fuck factory farming, animal agriculture. It's destroying the planet. It's destroying people's health, foodborne illnesses, the majority of them, heart disease, cancer, diabetes, coming from what we're eating, okay? And we're also talking to people about ethics, about animal ethics, about what happens to billions, trillions of animals every single year so people could eat a goddamn sandwich. Their entire existence taken away for a goddamn sandwich. And the main message here that I want you guys to take away is that we do not want to take a life away when we don't have to. So no, I don't want people hunting. No, I don't want people factory farming. No, I don't want family farms. I want freedom for all living beings. And I don't understand why somebody would try to argue that. Because if you were in the position or one of the places of these animals, I would advocate for you too. And actually, truly ask yourself, if you were a victim, right? How urgently would you want somebody speaking up for you? How urgently would you want somebody to change? Would you want people to try to find better ways of exploiting you, using your body parts, manipulating your body parts, eating you? Or would you rather have somebody standing against the abuse fully, right? So I'm here with a group called Allied Scholars for Animal Protection at Yale University. And what we do, our goal is to set up chapters on every single campus across the world, really, but starting in the US. And we're here with a centralized message of liberation for all animals. We have an amazing demo going on here as well with the strongest man in Germany, Patrick Baboumian. He won the world title in 2011, and he's here to challenge students to see if they're stronger than a vegan. Can they lift this 165-pound keg? And nobody's really been able to do it so far. But the point is that, look, if you're vegan, you can get all the protein that you need. In fact, you could be titled the strongest man in Germany. So Patrick, how's your experience been so far with Allied Scholars for Animal Protection? Look up Patrick Baboumian, you guys, and Game Changers.
I've been traveling with Allied Scholars for Animal Protection now for 6 weeks. We've been going from campus to campus. I think they're doing really, really important work because, specifically, I've always thought that it's important to do outreach with younger people, because obviously, they still have their whole life in front of them, and they still, they're going to be those who are going to create the future.
Yes.
And universities, it's really important to make sure that these future thought leaders are exposed to the truth.
All these students are exposed to this vegan message here, and so many conversations are being had. What would you say to the meatheads on here? We have over 200 people on here live that are watching. What would you say to some of the meatheads that are like, you can't change me, and meat is manly? What would you say to that?
Well, what I would say is I was a meat eater as well. There is really nothing impressive in eating meat. It is just a default behavior in our society. So if you think that you can impress anybody with with just being like everybody else, then you're not doing that. What's impressive is to be able to evolve and to be able to learn and to be able to self improve. If you're, it's perfectly fine. If you just want to stay primitive, that's your thing. I chose to do it differently, and so yeah, I'm not impressed by somebody saying, "Oh no, I just don't want to learn." Yeah, you're just gonna be left behind. It's
Totally.
fine.
Well, thank you for all you're doing, and thank you for inspiring people to make the change, to go plant-based, be vegan, and also understand that you can be strong and that you can get enough protein and all the nutrients that you need. And if anybody on here is in Connecticut, Patrick and Dr. Faraz Harsini are doing a talk here on campus tonight, and there will be free food. It's at 5:30 in this room, just so you know. But I'll turn it back over here. For those of you guys that are just joining, hi, my name is Jamie. You should definitely subscribe to my channel. I love all of you, even the meat trolls on here, because I was one of you too. I never wanted to accept the vegan message. I fought it till the very end. I came up with every excuse in the book. I actually, something humane happened in the process. So I would try to buy my meat from local farms and whatnot. And then I actually one day watched some of the slaughterhouse footage, and I was like, watching these animals scream and fight for their lives, and I was just so horrified by it. And I said, you know what, if I don't want these things happening to me, or even an animal that I love, like my dog, I would never put her through that. Why am I paying for this to happen to other animals? So the truth really is that every bite of meat, every piece of cheese, every glass of milk, even if it's just a little bit, or even if you reduce your meat consumption and only have it once a week, or meatless Mondays, results in the death of an individual, results in suffering. And so we can stand against that together. We can be that change in the world that we wish to see. And I really believe that peace on our plates, it's the first form of oppression that we're taught, to love some animals and then pay for other animals to be mutilated, confined, tortured, and ultimately killed. So even the most humane methods of, and sometimes it takes up to 3 minutes for them to die, where you're shot in the head and then left to bleed out, electrocution, stunning methods, it's all really cruel, and it's all something that I wouldn't want done to me. So to put a baby animal through that, a defenseless baby animal through that, is just, it's not necessary, and not something that I want to be a part of, or not anything that you guys should be a part of either, And so when I learned that I was eating baby animals, really, like literally eating baby animals, because chickens are 42 days old when they're killed. Cows can be just a few weeks old. If they're male baby cows, they don't produce milk in the dairy industry, so all the male baby calves are killed. Their mothers are killed after their milk production slows down, sometimes at just a few years old when they can live up to 20 something. Pigs are 6 months old when they're killed. They're babies, 6 months old. People are eating babies. Lambs just a few weeks old. And so guys, the point is that veganism, it's not a sacrifice. It's really not. You can eat everything that you love eating, from pizza, lasagna, burgers, even steak, but just a vegan version of it. So made from plants, made from delicious plant-based products that don't cause animals to be screaming in the slaughterhouse, that don't cause the environment to be destroyed. And so our message here today at Yale University is fuck factory farming, right? Because we're all against that, hopefully. Even some of the meat trolls on here, you guys don't agree with confining billions of animals, right? And the disease that comes out of those places. But we're also really here to say, well, even the humane, quote unquote, like the local farmers, it's still exploitation of animals, and the animals still have to be killed. So I think that these animals really value their lives, they really, they know kindness from humans, and then to drop them off at the slaughterhouse is like the ultimate act of betrayal. It's so cruel and so not kind. And so words like pasture raised or animal welfare certified, they're really just made to make us believe that something humane happened in the process and make us feel better about our choices. But for the animal, for the victim, it really means nothing. So I'm going to show you our booth. We have over 200 people here on YouTube Live. For animal protection. The reason that we're here, why do you do what you do?
Because most of the students we are at Yale, right? So this is one of the best universities in the world, and most of these people go to college without a single time having the opportunity to question what they eat, or rather who they eat. And when you talk to people, every now and then you get a troll, but that's not most people. She was just talking to someone, he used to be vegetarian for health and environment, and that's good, but he gave up, right? So he gave up because he didn't have support, and it's easy to be that isolated person and then just give up on your values. But she actually made the point that vegetarian doesn't really help. She made the point that it's actually about the animals, they're the real victims. He was literally just going vegan because he never had the opportunity. Like, I wish when I was in college someone said, Fraz, wake up.
Me too.
Sorry, the whole camera shook. Wake up, go vegan, and I would have gone vegan a lot sooner. So the question is, and this is Yale, right? So 99% of the students will do huge things in their lives.
Yes.
They're going to become lawyers and doctors and policymakers, voters and parents, right? So, and then yesterday we were doing activism. Somebody recognized me from some 2 hour of activism I did like last year.
Yeah.
Because it's really easy to saturate college campuses. So we have this going on right now. And if you turn around, then we have Patrick Baboumian. He's the star of Game Changer. So he's beating people in. There is a banner about our talk right there. And then in the back, there is another and that says veganism is a moral urgency. So all these students are exposed to all these different messages.
Yeah, and if you guys like our message and what we're doing here today, the only way that it's able to happen is through donations. The only way we're able to hit campus to campus and get materials. I mean, you see how many tables and A-frames and TV screens that we have here. The only way that is through donations. So you could go to alliedscholars.org and please donate. My channel as well. You can sign up for Patreon, $5 a month. It goes a long way. That's the only way we're able to do this. And how have some of the conversations been for you, Faraz, like talking to the students here at Yale?
They're very open-minded. A lot of times it's more about asking questions, right? So we try not to talk too much, just ask. And I think that the reason it's so easy to eat meat, eggs, dairy is because you don't have to see the reality. That's why we are showing the footage. And all we ask is that, what do you think about that? And everyone with a grain of decency, when they look at what happens to animals, they feel bad and they say they don't like it. And the next question is, well, if you don't like it, if you have meat, eggs, dairy, that's what you're supporting. Do you want to tell them about the dairy farm we
Yes.
investigated?
Okay, you guys, so you're in for a story. If you're on here and you are on this part of the live, you're in for a treat because we're going to tell you the story of just the other day. We were at UConn, University of Connecticut, and Faraz and I decided to go check out their farm on campus. Thinking, we were told that it was so nice and that the animals are treated so well, so humane, and they even had a dairy bar where they have ice cream that they say is from the cows in the dairy bar. So Faraz and I just wanted to go check it out, and so we drove over to the farm, and we went to the dairy bar first, and they have all of these different flavors of ice cream from breast milk from cows. And we were asking them, like, where does this come from? And they said from their farm. So we went up to the farm, and immediately you just see these cows that are in this beautiful pasture. I mean, really, it could fool anybody. Even I was like, wow, these cows, they seem happy. I mean, they're grazing in the field, they're outside. It's a beautiful campus. But then we walked further into the farm and we came across these baby veal huts where the babies, the mother cows were in the field. The babies had been separated from the mothers and kept in these like tiny huts, isolated even from each other, where they spend 24/7 alone. 24/7 alone in them biting at the wiring around the crate because they're hungry, they're mentally, I mean, not stimulated. Imagine if you were in one of those crates. Imagine if you had been separated from your mother and people come to this campus tricked into thinking that this is like happy animals. And so this just goes to show that even the best case scenario, a college university that's well funded, that has these animals, even the best case scenario, it's cruelty to them, and it's inhumane, and that it causes suffering. And then we also saw chickens in these little coops. We saw more mother cows inside the barn. One was bloody. You can show this picture. Had blood on her nose. They have these milking machines that are like machinery. And I'm just like, for anybody that calls farming natural, it's fucking insane. I'm sorry. Pardon my French. There's nothing natural about it. It's a machine that's like taking a laser technology to try to find where the udder is to then take milk that's meant for the mother's baby so that humans can drink milk. I mean, who's with me here, right? We are the only species to drink milk past infancy from another species, let alone from another species. Do you want to add anything about the farm?
Yeah, so it is weird to drink milk, but we are not against it because it's weird.
Yeah.
It's the fact that for every glass of milk, for every piece of cheese, like the part that students couldn't see is that all male babies had to be sent to slaughter. And I've done investigations myself in Texas. That's really what happens. The mother cows are artificially impregnated. Every time they give birth, their babies, if they are males like me, we don't produce breast milk. We are useless for egg or dairy industry, so they're always killed. And cows are mammals, right? So they form strong bonds with their children, and then they send the children to slaughterhouse. If they are female, they separate them, cage them separately. And I want you to think about a woman in your life, and imagine if somebody artificially or forcibly made them pregnant and kept them pregnant for 6 or 7 years. Every time they gave birth, they separated their babies and eventually killed them the second they're no longer profitable. It's just not right?
No.
This is not how we should be producing food for us. And eating meat, eggs, dairy. I was just writing about this. My favorite food used to be bacon and steak. I see a lot of people, joking about it, all the steak emojis. Like, I didn't become vegan because I stopped liking the taste of meat.
Mm-hmm.
I just opened my eyes. I thought that I didn't choose to eat meat. I just grew up in a society where it was normal. My parents told me that I had to have meat to be strong. I'm a doctor today. That's not how biology works. And
He's a
we
doctor.
He's a good example of you can be one of the strongest people in the world without eating meat, eggs, and dairy. So these are things we didn't question. But when you start questioning, when you start connecting with animals behind the scenes, now when I see bacon and steak or a glass of milk, I don't see food anymore. I hear that animals' last moments, the screaming, the pain, separation from mothers and children, all those things. And suddenly, I don't want to eat it. I don't want to change. I don't want to support that. And indeed, I want to bring that education to people.
Mm-hmm. And you said that because it's even like change can be hard, right? And going against society and going against social norm can be hard. But would you rather go along with abuse, neglect, slavery, or would you rather stand against it and be on the right side of history? Change is never easy, but who are you? Are you just somebody that just goes with what everybody else is doing? Or are you a leader? You use that word slavery because what is it? We are enslaving the animals. We are exploiting them. We are using them for our own benefit. If these practices that were happening to farm animals happened to even cats and dogs, it would be illegal, let alone